All right, all right, all right. How are we doing today? It's not morning, it's not afternoon, it's exactly noon. Hi, Panther fans. Why I can't say good morning, Panther fans. That's the point, right? I can't say good morning, Panther fans anymore when we start the thing at noon. I can't say good afternoon, Panther fans, because it's not afternoon, it's noon. So we have to come up with something new. What else is new? We've got to make changes to the show. All right, let me get these big ass snow boots off my feet and get into a more comfortable position so that I can appropriately interact with you all. Oh, I talked about it on the podcast today. We had a bit of excitement this morning. It's been a hell of a morning. I've got another down tree, a tree that fell um, about 10 feet away from destroying my van. So I'm very happy that didn't happen. Michael, Ethan, Sean, how you guys doing? Hey, Sean, yeah, now it's afternoon, right? Hey, Jameson, how you guys doing? Yeah, Michael, great win last night. 8. That's 8. Now, I think, um, did we have anything else since the 12 or 13 win streak? I don't think so, because last year I think 6 was it, right? 6 was our longest streak last year, I believe, and then the President's Trophy, was it 12 or did we get 13? So Sean says, here comes the haters. The reviews are pre-recorded. Chucky. It's funny because I was sitting there as the third period started and I felt stupid, right? I'm sitting there thinking, they're gonna give me grief for saying Chucky should get a hat trick and he didn't score, and then he gets 3 and he gets it all in the third period. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, Chucky doing Chucky things. I mean, I have not seen a guy just light switch it like that. I mean, he was starting to look a little bit better, Coop, you think it was 13? Yeah, I seem to remember thinking it was one more than that 12, right? Yeah. Which game was it, by the way? Because there's a video that I want to do. I haven't forgotten about it, and I don't want to give it away. But which game was it where Chucky laid that hit with his shoulder and then went to the locker room? Does anybody remember which game that was? Save me the trouble having to go back and look at the recaps. And I want to find that because I have a point about that I think might be part of the reason why we see Chucky back the way he is. Taylor says, "Let's go Panthers! Great game. I think the organization sat down with the players and discussed how they needed an increase in hat sales." That's true. That's true. Yeah, there's been more hat tricks on the road than at home. Where were Nola Charis? Where were Charis? You might be right there though. Hey JC, good morning. Yeah, and you all saw the kid on TV yesterday that he had the sign, right? He's got the sign. Kachuk, please score a hat trick for me. And then Chucky went up after the game and gave him his stick. How awesome is that? Coop, yeah, there was a game right before Chucky started scoring where he hit somebody hard with his shoulder, and then he went to the locker room. And then he came back. But I want to make a video about it because I have a point about that. But I don't remember which game it was. I was wondering if anybody else remember which game. JC, if Zito gets snubbed this year is rigged. How did he not win last year? I mean, when you think about it, JC, how does he not win last year? All he did last year was make the biggest blockbuster trade in the NHL in years, if not decades, and take his team to the Stanley Cup final. I don't know how he got snubbed last year. Let's see. Michael, you were at both of those games. Gotcha. Ethan, you say you feel like maybe the medical team gave Chucky free range to do his stuff. That's possible. That's possible. Grant says, good on us getting into the West. Come home with a sweep. Beating LA at home would really complete that. Yeah, LA. The problem with the Kings right now is they've lost, what is it, 6, 7 in a row, right? So when what is that saying? when an immovable force meets a stationary object or immovable object, whatever that is, their numbers come and due, our numbers come and due, right? JC says the pickup of Stenlin has been great. He continues to find these diamonds in the rough. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's Zito, man. That he just keeps doing it year after year after year. Yeah, I agree there, Sean. The next big milestone for the team is a Will Lockwood goal. Yep. Hey, Sybil. Thanks for joining us, bud. Michael says, let's hope they lose 7 in a row. You can win 7 in a row after you lose to us. Yeah, look, the Kings always give us a tough time, right? There's no doubt there. The Kings always give us a tough time. They've still, I believe they still have the lowest goals allowed against in the NHL. So it's not going to be easy. But what's really helping us out now, I mean, obviously the extra scoring, but the fact that we can just send Stolars out there and just tell them, hey, only allow 1 goal, right? I was talking about it on the podcast today. I mean, I'm kind of joking when I say this, okay? But at the same point, if I'm Spencer Knight right now, I'm telling my agent, hey man, give me some place where I have a chance that I'm going to play because Bubba's found the fountain of youth. And Stolars is looking better and better. I mean, I know he's not going to turn into, Jeremy Swayman or something like that. But right now, Spencer Knight, barring any kind of injury, he's an AHL goalie. He's getting paid, so I guess he shouldn't complain too much, right? I know, Michael. Yeah, Lockwood had a nice move. He just couldn't get to that last. He just couldn't finish it. Yep. Taylor said that loss that's coming due better not be against Detroit, Jaws. Oh, that's your birthday. Happy birthday. That's not Saturday, right? Because Saturday is the Devils. Yeah. Mike says the Kings have a good team this year. Even if we drop that game after the road trip, nothing to hang your head about. Just go win 7 more. Yeah, win 7, lose 1. Let's do that in the playoffs too. If you win 7, lose 1 in the playoffs, let's see, you sweep the first series. And then you lose the first game, and then you win the next 4. That's the second series. And then the third series is you get 3 games to nothing lead, and you lose 1. And then you win game 4, and then you get a 3 to nothing lead in the finals. You lose, win 7, lose 1. I like that. That's good. That's good. Taunt says, I'm not allowed to watch a live stream during the game. Whenever I do, the Panthers get scored on. As soon as I turn off your game stream, they score a bunch. I'm sorry to hear that, but I understand. I do. We all have our things. It's like I got a Zach Thomas jersey hanging up over there that the Dolphins have lost literally every time I've worn it. It's been 3 years since I wore the red jersey and we won a game, the Panthers. So I get it. Michael, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about Spencer Knight coming up next. Now with the salary cap issues we got, I don't know. But that all remains to be seen. Who knows what's going to happen in between now and with all the contracts and everything like that. There's just no way to know. Hey, AJ. Hey, Paul. How you guys doing? Sybil says it's the opposite for you, whether I'm not, watching the stream. Taunt. So, look, Verhaeghe, Reinhart, Chucky. I mean, Barkov, how many assists does he have in the last few games? He's not putting in the back of the net, but I kind of almost feel like all of the goals have Barkov involved somewhere. Did he get the secondary assist on the one where Tkachuk passed it to Reinhart? I know he's been tearing it up assists-wise. And defensively, hey, good morning, True. I have a question. I want to know if this is my imagination or if anybody else has noticed this. Okay. It appears to me as though Ekblad and Forsling have swapped roles. and that Forsling is now the offensive guy, and Forsling is now the offensive guy, and Ekblad is now the guy that stays back a little bit more. I haven't noticed Ekblad having to chase as much, and I certainly have noticed that Forsling has been taking more shots and getting more points. Hey, Paul, I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, I appreciate that, Paul. You're still you working for yourself though, right? You know, when you work for yourself, the boss is always an asshole. That's what I've learned. That's what I've learned in my 25 years. The boss, when you are self-employed, the boss never shuts up. Never shuts up. It don't matter what time of the day it is. It don't matter if you're sitting in your chair 11 o'clock at night, blazed out of your mind. There's a boss in the back of your head going, you really should be doing videos. You really should be looking at comments. You really should be writing an article. Or what about that other YouTube channel you wanted to start it? And don't you forget, you need to get a new laptop. And did you pay the electric bill? You better put everything on auto pay. It never stops. Never stops. Never, never, never. I hate that guy. He's a massive pain in my ass because he never gives me a day off. Hi, Pepper. How you doing? True. Yeah, we're playing. I don't want to say that because I think that's bad juju if I say that. We're playing all right. We still kind of suck. We need to play better. It's crazy, man. We're playing so well that we're winning despite me not having anything to bitch about. That's how good we're playing right now. Jameson says Rod and Barkov were Warriors on the road trip playing dinged and still producing. Yeah. You know, it's funny about Barkov. He's got the cage, and so you assume something is damaged, right? But I didn't see any black eye or any scar. I didn't see. He's still got the same baby face. So I guess it's just precautionary, but it's like, it's weird because he took a hell of a shot to the face. I don't see anything wrong. So I mean, the clone machine is really, really, they must have a revert to previous version button on the clone machine. That must be what it is. It's like they save the version before every game, so that if they have to put them in a halftime, second period, they just revert, create the previous version and spit them out. All right, let's see. Yeah, Paul, self-employed, exactly, right? Taunton, I listened to post-game interviews last night. All the players said something like they didn't play their best game and could do better. Yeah, I never get a chance to listen to the post-game because I'm doing the recap or we're finishing up the stream. Drew says that's how your brain works. Yeah, it never shuts up, man. It never shuts up. Drew says what's really good is we have one of the world's best goalies. The world's best goalie school, and our backup is just playing as good as our starter. Yeah, man. I talked about it on the podcast today. I mean, if you really wanted to look at this team and find something, if you really wanted to be like 2018 Jaws and just find something to bitch about, you could say we could upgrade over Lomberg on that third line. Other than that, there's not a spot on the team, including depth, even goaltending depth, that needs anything. There's nothing this team needs. Now, does that guarantee a cup? No. But in terms of need, if people are calling Bill, he's like, I don't really need a guy. I mean, make me an offer I can't refuse. Bill Zito can completely sit on this roster. And he does not have to do anything. All right, scroll back down to the bottom here. Yeah, the ticket prices, right? Yeah, AJ, well-oiled machine, exactly. Craig, exactly. The Panthers are a machine right now, and they have the spare parts. Yeah, exactly. Jason says, is Reinhart going to get a contract like Nylander? Take into consideration taxes there. Take into consideration taxes. 11 and a half in Canada like that is like 9.5. I think Reinhardt's going to get 8.5. I think 8 might be pushing it. You know what I mean? I think 8.5, maybe 9, and we could pull it off. Because if the cap's going up to 4 years, 4 million. But I don't think he's going to be getting 11.5. I don't think we'll get anything like that. Hey, Pepper, thank you, Pepper. Much appreciated. I was actually answering that. And Coop, I'll get to that in a second. I was answering that. Yeah, 8.5, maybe 9, 8 years, no taxes. He's in the perfect position, right? Because if you're Reinhardt, Barkov is here for forever, right? So for Reinhardt, what do you want to do? You want to go somewhere else, or do you want to sign the 8-year deal and know the rest of your career you're right next to Alexander Barkov? The end of the discussion. I mean, to me, I know it's easy because it's not my $1 million extra. You know what I mean? But like, we could probably fit him in at 8.5, maybe even 9, depending on how things go. What's he going to do? Go somewhere else for 10 and a half? It just don't make any sense to me. Now Coop wants to know if we're peaking too soon. I don't think so. I think what's happening is Tkachuk, Bennett, Montour, and Ekblad are all just now starting to round into form. That's what I think we're seeing. I think we're seeing all of those guys just now kind of getting into the groove and playing their game and everything. And I don't think we're peaking too soon. I think we're capable of playing this way for long stretches of time, because we're not even being, I'm not saying we're not being physical, but we're not taking runs at anybody. We're not wearing our body parts out, right? We're beating these teams with our legs and playing smart. And, that goes back to those training camps that Paul Maurice puts together, where he's running guys all over the place and running them ragged. How many times have you heard him say the word conditioning, right? Well, look at Tkachuk out there last night in the third period, forechecking, and he's ready to go. He looks good and fresh. That's how we're beating teams. And Maurice said it. It was not something that many people talked about, and it was just one sentence in one interview. But the words that he used was, we kind of want to skate teams to death, right? And I think that's a really good strategy. I think that's kind of what they're doing. Mike says, hopefully Zito locks up Montour and Forsling soon. Well, they've apparently there was a report that all the contract talks were halted. Don't know why. But remember, they were working on Montour and Forsling. Maybe they flipped it to working on Reinhardt first. Maybe he talked to all of the guys and he realizes, I got to move somebody. So he wants to see who he's going to have to move before he signs anybody. But we'll have to see, right? Yeah, Coop, feeling back to healthy, right? Yep, exactly, Nick, exactly. And Jason, yeah, I agree there. You can't overpay for Monty. What do you guys think, Montour? That's such a hard one. Because 73 points, and he is looking more and more like himself now. I mean, when he shoots that puck, it's just, he's so aggressive with shooting the puck. I just love it because it keeps the vibe going. Even if the puck doesn't go in the net, it's like Forsling is now, yeah, I like us. Just throw the puck at the net. Just throw it at the net. And it kind of keeps that vibe going. I mean, we know he would get more. Yeah, he's 30. So Nick says 6.5. That's tough. If you give him 6.5, if you give Reinhardt 9, that's a little bit tough. Cap wise, I'm not saying they're not worth it. We'll see. I mean, there's only, January 10th? The trade deadline is March 13th, I think, 12th or 13th. Praga says, I'm hoping Reinhardt might take less on a shorter deal to be in a winning team. You need the third D pair and fourth line guys to be good, not just cheap fill-ins. That is why we win. Well, that's true, Praga. But with Zito, he finds these guys that, like Lorentz wasn't great. He's acceptable. Who do we have last year? Balsers was not great. There was another guy that we got last year, Colin White. But right now, in terms of this team right now, I think we've got the right mix. Right mix. Jason, you think, Forsling over Montour is definitely the priority. Yeah, absolutely. True. No, that's what I was talking about. Is this year's replacement guys to Praga's point? This year's replacement level guys are far better than what Zito found last year. They weren't terrible last year. I mean, we went to the Cup, right? But this year's guys I think they play a little bit faster. I think they're much more suited to Zito's system and that energy that Tkachuk, Bennett, and somewhat Montour bring. Oh, is that right? True. Wright was only there because Chucky. I did not know that. All right. Somebody had said something about George Richards. TK says, watch George Richards at the game show talking about Reinhardt. He wants to stay with the team. Wants. Yeah, it's tough for me to watch anything after the thing. I guess George has been doing lives after I guess he waits for Kyle and I to be done, and then he's going live. That's good, but I don't have time to watch unless I watch later, because I'm still uploading and editing and the whole thing with the recap at that point. So I miss a lot of that post game stuff. Otherwise, the recap would be up like at midnight instead of like 10:30 like it normally is. Let me take a sip here. Hey, Trey. Trey, I was thinking that exact thing last night. If Tkachuk plays the rest of this season, he'll get 30 goals. Yeah, I mean, we're halfway. He needs, what did he get? 8, 9 last night? Last night was what, 7, 8, and 9, or 8, 9, and 10? Was it? I think it was 10, right? Hey, Bonehead, thank you for being a member. I appreciate that. He says, through this streak, what have you seen that can improve on? Jeez, what can we improve on? Stop giving up so many shorthanded chances. That's it. That's like the only complaint I think anybody could really, that would be like the number one complaint, is stop giving up so many shorthanded chances. Even though I know sometimes it's just an unlucky bounce or whatever. It also, in case you didn't notice, Ekblad's not on that number one power play unit. Number one power play unit last night was just the names. When I see, this is Montour, Tkachuk, Barkov, Reinhardt, Verhaeghe. It's like those 5 guys. She's like, good luck stopping those. That should be deadly, right? With those 5 guys on the ice, it should absolutely be deadly. TK says, improve on the slow starts. I mean, I don't know. We keep getting 3 goals every night in the third period, right? Yeah. But I think for me, the biggest thing would be the shorthanded chances. Because the D pinches too much Praga. Yeah, that's kind of why I was mentioning Ekblad's not on that top unit anymore. Because when he pinches, he's not going to catch a guy, where at least Montour has a chance. Bonehead says, how badly do we want to see a first round Bolts versus Panthers? I don't know if Tampa's going to make the playoffs, man. I don't know. They're having a tough time right now. Vasilevsky's going to have to. He's going to have to round into form if they're going to make the playoffs. It's no guarantee. I talked about it yesterday in the podcast. I think it's 6 teams before yesterday's games. I think it's 6 teams within 2 points of each other. I mean, it's crazy. Mike says Tkachuk's really slow start has been better than Huberdeau's entire season. That's a mic drop. That's true, Mike. It's funny because it's true. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming, but it is. It's very, very true, man. Julian says Duke, Lindell, Lomberg, defensive center, grinder, sniper, third line production. Well, where would you put Lusterinen at that point? I mean, look, and I know it's fun to talk about, and we talked about it a lot when Cousins was in that spot. And I think right now, my opinion, I love Paul Maurice. So I'm kind of being sarcastic. I'm kind of being a dick here. But at the same point, he better not give Cousins his job back. He better see that Lomberg is better than Cousins on that third line. The way the 12 forwards that we rolled out last night, I'm 100% okay going into the playoffs with those guys. If you want to tweak it and get somebody to replace Lomberg, you better play defense because they may not be scoring goals, but Lundell, Lomberg, Luosterainen, good luck scoring against those guys. That is just that's going to be a brutally tough line to play against. Julian, well, I think the investment in Lundell is going to come eventually when Samoskevich and or Sordiff get put there on that third line and we get told, all right, there you go. I believe keeping those two is the investment in Lundell as opposed to going out and getting another guy we're going to have to pay big money to. That would be my guess. Eventually, we have to, we have to have the good young guys that we develop on cheaper contracts. Jason says, be careful. Cousins could be like a Stu Barnes issue. He's well liked in the locker room and plays on the edge, which is what we need. Yeah, I'm not here. A couple things with that. You're not wrong. Number two, he's making $1.1 million and he needs a contract. And I don't think we're going to be re-signing him. So I think, do you let him be a reserve the rest of the year and you don't move him? That's fine. But in terms of right now, and I mean, look, if you want to put Cousins on the fourth line instead of Lockwood, okay. You know what I mean? I mean, Lockwood doesn't take stupid penalties. Cousins does. And yeah, Mike is saying Lockwood. Yeah, I like Lockwood. And TK said Mahura isn't getting any ice time. Is he done? No. We're just in unfamiliar territory right now, right? We're just in unfamiliar territory where, and it kind of all happened because of the injuries, right? If Ekblad and Montour aren't hurt to start the season, Zito doesn't go out and get everybody. Maybe OEL, but he's not going to get OEL, Mikkola, and Kulikov. Maybe only one of those guys come if Ekblad and Montour are healthy to start the season. So it's the best possible world now because Mikkola and OEL at worst are legitimate second pairing defensemen, and we don't even have room to put them all in the second pair. So Mahura is excellent depth, or at some point might be a trade chip. You know what I mean? Because remember, we did just extend Balinskis as well. You still got Kiersted, Carlson, Fitzgerald down in the minors. I mean, we've got so many guys now. Gone are the days. Remember, I'm going to bring up a name. If anybody has drink in their mouth, swallow it before I bring up this name. But at least nowadays, we are not worried about having to play guys like Jakob Kindl. I'm sorry. I know it's lunchtime and some of you are probably eating and you probably just threw up all over your phone. That's my bad. That's my bad. But at least we don't have to play those guys anymore. Praga, Mikkola is on a multi-year. OEL is on a 1-year deal, so he will need a contract. My apologies, AJ. My apologies. But no, Mahura's going to be around. Look, all it takes is one guy getting hurt. You know what I mean? But this is just such unfamiliar territory for us Panther fans because even last year when we were as good as we were towards the end of the season, there was no depth, right? I mean, how many times? We had to play Eric Stahl at 2C a couple of times. I don't even remember if we didn't have to play him up top at some point because of all the injuries. Johan Garpilov enters the chat. Garpilov was much better than Jakob Kindl. Let's see. Mike says OEL needs to be re-signed, and I feel he'll take a cut to stay with the team since he's had trouble in the past. Mikula, same thing. Well, Mikula is signed. Mikula is either a 3-year or 4-year deal. I get those mixed up because Mikula or Rodriguez, it's 3 and 4. I don't remember if it's 3 years at $4 million or vice versa. I get those numbers mixed up. Mikula is signed, but OEL ain't going anywhere. Why would he want to leave, right? Right? I mean, he's in the perfect position with the sunshine to end his career. He'll stay. OEL, Julian says OEL is like 2 or 3 times the price of Mahuro. You want to keep Reinhardt, Verhage, Forsling, right? I don't think he's going to. He's only getting like 1.2 or something now, right? So you give him 2 years at 1.5, maybe 2 million. There's a little bit of room there, not a lot. And again, this circles all the way back, right? I mean, it may legitimately be a situation where in order to give everybody that extra $500,000 or $1 million that they deserve, you move on from Spencer Knight and everybody else gets signed. I mean, that is a get out of jail free card that we kind of have because somebody would take them. I'm not saying that's what I want to do. Don't misconstrue that, but they ain't trading Ekblad. I mean, if it comes down to they'd have to move Ekblad or Knight, it's gonna be Knight 100% of the time. They're just not gonna. Us fans are the only ones that feel any of the negativity around Ekblad. I guarantee you. You ask Zito, because I talked to Billy about it, I talked to Randy about it. Ekblad, in my opinion, I mean, I could be eventually sitting there saying I'm shocked, but the Panthers have never had one guy, not one player, that we have drafted, developed, been a star, stayed with us his whole career. Not one guy. Now, Barkov is going to definitely be that guy, and I would just be all kinds of flip-flop shocked if they ever moved on from Ekblad. Hey, Frank, thank you, buddy. All right, thank you, Frank. Let's see. He says, disagree with you on Cousins, Jaws. I'm having trouble reading today. Can I want my glasses here? No. Hold on, let me put it up on the screen here. Okay, I can read it better here. Says, disagree with you on Cousins, Jaws. He's an excellent forechecker energy guy. He was the only guy that stood up for OEL with the Charlie McAvoy situation. His playing style is key for the playoffs. Look, I'm not against him being on the fourth line. You're not wrong. I don't disagree with what you're saying. But I think in terms of next to Lundell and Luosterainen, Lomberg is a better option. And then Cousins would be on the fourth line. It's 6 of one, half dozen of another, right? Lomberg is cheaper. Both of them need contracts, right? You're not wrong. I understand what you're saying, but I just think in terms of if you're going to put a guy in the top 9 at a necessity, I'd rather have Lomberg there. But it's all good. All right, hold on a second. Let me find that comment. Oh, how do I hide it? Okay, here we go. All right, I'm learning as we go. Thank you again, Frank. Much appreciated. Braga says, I think Ekblad's deep play between the net and faceoff circle, very solid, just slow if he has to catch. Yep, exactly. All right, going to the bottom here. Mike says, get rid of Bob so we can get a goalie we can praise during games. No, man, I'm telling you. Now, this is all joking set aside. You guys know I have an occasion on my accident to do the Jostradamus thing, right? Let's all be honest here, okay? When I predicted the Tkachuk trade, I was bitching about people wanting to trade Lundell, and that shit just came out of my mouth. But if you watch the very first Bill Zito skit video I did, the joke at the end of the video is Bobrovsky wanting an extension. And I'm telling you, whenever I've had things come out of my mouth that have eventually been right, that's been the manner of which they've come out, where I'm not really saying Bob's going to get an extension, and the next thing you know, he's going to get an extension. But I said it, but I didn't really say it. Does that make any sense? So when Bob gets his extension, I'll just be playing that clip of the Zito thing over and over and over again, because that would not shock me in the least. But my dad bitching about Bob during the game offsets any praise I do, because even when Bob's not playing, like when we allowed a goal last night, the first text from my dad is Bob sucks. So he offsets it. Oh no, Praga, I'm not talking about for the same money. No. I'm not talking about giving Bob 2 more years at 10. Give him 5. Tell him, hey Bob, you want to stay here? You want to stay around, or do you want to retire? I don't think he wants to retire. He ain't playing like he wants to retire. He is getting better. So, yeah, I'm not saying for 10 million, but I'm just saying. I could be wrong. Yeah, Nick says Cousins is a great player, but he never finishes the shit he starts. Right. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. That's a good point, Taunt. That's the guy I was forgetting about. Zach Dalpe is good. I was talking about him with the depth last night. It's just what Zito has been able to do. When you look at our cap situation, you look at the cap situation, you look at the assets that we gave up with Giroux and Sherratt, and there was another deal we gave up at. Well, the picks for Bennett and with Reinhardt. When you look at what Zito has done, everything we've given up, and the cap situation, and where we are now in terms of depth, it's just like, how did you do that? Yeah, Sean, Lucas Carlson has entered the chat, right? Yeah. Oh, Robert Hagg. Yeah, that's the other deal. Yeah. Thank you, Praga. I knew there was a third one. God, we forgot about him, right? Jeez. Yeah, I had to bring that up. But you're right. That was the other guy. But when you think about all of those moves, and the fact that somehow he's turned all of that into all this depth that we have, I agree. Was it Praga that said it earlier? I mean, how he keeps getting snubbed for GM of the year, I'll never know. He's never going to win. If he didn't win, he didn't even finish second last year. He didn't even finish second last year. Yeah, Trey, we threw in a pick with the Tkachuk trade too, right? Sean says, Maurice, don't let him play. Right. Yeah, Lucas Carl. I'm sorry, Lucas. I don't know what to tell you, man. Maybe you got to score 30 goals, because 18 last year didn't quite get it done. Right. I don't know that we have any more to trade off, Frog. I don't think we have any first round picks to trade off. No. If anything happens this year, it's going to be, the only reason I think anything happens really is if Zito realizes there's going to be a guy that we can't afford, right? I don't think Forsling's going to leave. I don't think Reinhardt's going to leave. I don't get a feeling either way about Montour, right? I don't get a feeling either way about him. Remember, Reinhardt's been making 6.5 for a few years now, so it's not like he's coming off a $2 million deal and this is the only decent contract he's going to get. But with Montour, I don't know, man. Something's a little with them halting those negotiations. Maybe they'll do something where everybody just signs on the same day, right? TK, and TK. It's interesting you say that new players mid-year won't fit into Maurice's system. That's why I've brought up Duclair, and I know that he doesn't play defense. I know all the knocks on Duke. I'm not even suggesting that we really should do that, but he'll be available. He's on the last year of his contract. Somebody's going to get him. We'll just put it that way. And Ed, I agree completely there. It says there's got to be more to the Lucas Carlson story. He doesn't get picked off of waivers, but Ludwig did. Yeah, it sucks that we lost Ludwig. I hated losing that. I liked him a lot. And Carlson, yeah, he's been on waivers last year and this year. And I don't understand. I think somebody told me he's too small, but I think he's literally the exact same height and weight as Josh Mahura. I think that's the player. I mean, he played 40 games, 42 games or whatever during the President's Trophy season. I thought he was solid. I know he didn't have a great playoff. I think he got taken off the ice, but it's kind of weird. It's like, well, if nobody else wants him, how can we keep on to him? You know what I mean? So the way that you put that is there's something more there. I kind of agree. With that. You know, Progress says hopefully Reinhart $9 million. Oh, $9 million for 2 years. Then more once Bob's contract is gone. No, he's gonna want 8. He's going to want 8. Hockey players or any sports players, they're not going to take a bridge at that age. You know what I mean? Hey, Egoblina. I can't see today. My apologies. Let me blow this up. Egoblino. Okay. In terms of what happened to Stu, if you watch the first review I did without him a couple of weeks ago, if you watch that review, in the first 15 minutes, I go over it. And I went over it on purpose then so that if somebody new came around and asked what happened to Stu, I could just point them in the direction of that video and not have to keep going over and over and over it again. So it's the first review I did without him a couple of weeks ago. In the first 15 minutes, I explained the whole thing as much as I can. Praga says Carlson, just like Dalpe, they like to keep him for stability, marketing, and Charlotte team identity, crowd favorite. All right. Yeah, that is definitely an angle that I don't think about. So you're probably 100% correct there. Ton says, random interesting fact, NHL Network and many other large YouTube channels have polls asking who's going to win the goal scoring race this year, and they list the current top 5 minus Reinhart every time. Yes, Ton, yes. Yeah, same MVP race, everything. All of it. Reinhart's just not non-existent, not in the conversation. And when I tried to engage on Twitter and bring Reinhart into the conversation, and that was a waste of time. All I did was attract Leaf fans sticking up for Nathan McKinnon. If you could, so I mean, yeah, but you're not wrong. So, well, I appreciate that, Pepper and Mike. It was, you know what? The way I'm viewing it is I'm happy with the change. That the way it worked out. If you guys watched my video where I did the player grades and I graded myself, I gave myself a C. I wasn't happy with my energy. I felt stagnant. I felt I needed a change. And this whole situation that happened has been exactly what I needed. So I'm very happy with how it worked out. So, Nick, we'll have to check that out a little bit later, right? Yeah, and tons. Yeah, every single metric he's leading the NHL, he's left out. No, I know. I mean, he's leading. I think he's got like double the game-winning goals that McKinnon has. There's a bunch of stats. Yeah, Tons. I went off on Twitter about it. It was not well received, and I took another week off of Twitter. That was legitimately what happened. I'm pretty much done engaging over there because you cannot have rational discussion with anybody, especially now as a Panther fan. We're dirty. We don't. The fans don't know the game. The team is dirty, and it's not enjoyable at all. Yeah, and he's up on everybody on power play goals too, right? Yeah, exactly. Well, I appreciate that, guys. So all right, what do we got? Oh, we need more likes. Yeah, hit the like button, everybody. Hit the like button. I appreciate everybody that comes out and watches. I'm having a good time doing this. It makes it a lot easier on me. Because I don't always have time to engage with the comments because I'm busy doing everything else. So this kind of helps me feel like I'm engaging with you guys a little bit more than I normally would be able to do. And noon works. Actually, thank you guys for suggesting it. Noon works a lot. It don't work so good for Fluffy. Fluffy's pissed off. He's not here in front of me this morning. He's been banished downstairs again. He's okay. I'm playing. But he's bored because he had to rest for 2 or 3 days, and now the sun is shining and it's windy, and he wants to play, but his body won't really let him play. So all he does is stand there and bark, pissed off that he can't run like he wants to. And so I had to leave him downstairs because he just was not cooperating. All right, Prague, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're getting ready to run. Hey, Hamburger Hut. Yeah, exactly, Prague. Other fans think cats are crap and underestimate. Yep, exactly. Let's see. Colin says, who will get the next hat trick? Let's see. We had Reinhardt. Let's see. Let's try. Reinhardt is R. RST is Tkachuk. V. Well, we don't have any V's on the team, right? We don't. I was trying to do alphabetical because we had R, then T, but STUV. There is no V. There's no V. So I don't know. V is 5. Who's number 5? Ekblad hat trick. There you go. That's my best guess. I know no idea how I got there either, but that's how my brain works. Remember I said how it never shuts up? That's how it goes. Ekblad with a hat trick next. Craig is probably right, though. Craig is probably right. Mike says, I was talking with a Bruins fan while they were playing in Vegas, and he told me they weren't even concerned about us and only worried about Toronto. I said, keep it that way. You got to love that. You got to love that. Well, I tell you, you guys were here when Paul from the locker room came on the last review. He's a Bruins fan. Good guy. You heard his request. Leave us alone in the first round. He don't want nothing to do with. I don't want nothing to do with Boston. Boston don't want nothing to do with me, right? Let Boston and Toronto play that first round. That's the perfect thing, because instead of getting Boston or Toronto, or the Canes as a wild card, probably not. The point is we won't play Toronto seeking revenge, right? And we would only have to play one of Toronto and Boston if they played themselves in the first round. Yeah. So Taylor says, come on, Carter with the next hat trick. Hey, I was just doing numerology, right? But I'm gonna don't think I won't come back and clip this moment if it's Ekblad. Right? No, with my luck, Ekblad would get the next hat trick, but it'd be 2 empty netters. 2 empty netters and an own goal. Yeah, two empty netters and an own goal. The first one is the shot. It goes off of who we playing? The Kings. It goes off the Kings defenseman, and then the net, Ekblad gets the goal, and then he gets 2 empty netters, and it's a hat trick. You watch. Yeah, Trey. Yeah. Oh, Trey, you say Lundell gets the next hat trick, so did Bill. When's the last time he scored? He's the next guy. I mean, look, we know we can put the puck in the back of the net. He had 18 goals in the President's Trophy season, 12 last year. He's not on pace for 12 right now, right? But Stenlund has 8. So just pretend, in fact, that Lundell has 8 and Stenlund has the 2 or 3 that Lundell has, and everything seems normal. If you just, I'm just saying, right? If you just pretend that Lundell has the 8, you'd be like, okay, he's on pace for 16. That's an improvement. And then Stenlund is supposed to only have 2 or 3 goals at 4C, and everything works out, right? Yeah, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I like this better. This is just working out for me so much better than trying. And look, let's be honest. Noon helps. Right? Being able to finish my thoughts help. Engaging with you guys in the comments, that helps. My energy is going to be, better at noon than it is. A lot of times 8 o'clock in the morning that's tough. That's tough depending on how late the game was, how the dogs are, and everything like that. So, and Stenlund is a very good find. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's on a 1-year deal. I'd like to see him get extended, but he might definitely want a little bit more money. So, all right, everybody, that's going to do it for today. The voice is gone on me. I have figured out how I'm going to stream all of the games on Saturday, including the Dolphin game, the other game, and the Panther game. I got to get with Nick on Twisted Wrister. Nick's going to help us out. I have sorted through how I'm going to do it. I will make a community post later today or maybe tomorrow that that details everything that way out. But there will be a separate Florida Panthers, New Jersey Devils stream on this channel. It's basically going to start off with me and Nick and end with just Nick, but we're going to make it good. We're going to make it fun. So, all right, everybody. Really, really appreciate everybody joining me. Thank you for all the super chats. You guys know I genuinely appreciate that. Football channel is closing in on 1,000 subscribers, man. We're like at about 860. And that's gonna make things so much better around here, because once I get 1,000 over there, I get ad revenue. And with the views that I'm making over there, even right now, as soon as I get ad revenue on that channel, it's going to be like a $200 a week raise for me. So that's going to be nice. That's going to give me some breathing room finally for the first time since before COVID. So I'm looking forward to that. Yep. All right, everybody. Appreciate all the support. And the podcast should be out. I've already recorded it, so the podcast will be out in about a half hour. We'll see you guys tomorrow.